The cattle industry is used to dealing with the unexpected, whether it's a rapidly changing market or shifting consumer trends. And producers need to keep on their toes, taking into account how things like weather and forage quality and availability are affecting their cattle. Based on that unpredictability, Purina Mills has developed a product that can be customized to address your herd's needs. Reporter Brian Baxter has more from eastern Colorado.
Fraser Farms near Lyman, Colorado is a cow-calf operation that relies on native forage year-round, a factor Joe Fraser considers one of his ranch's strengths.
We feel like that really helps us both in terms of keeping the cows in the best condition possible and lowering our supplemental costs or feed, hay costs particularly.
Joe and his wife Cindy have practiced intensive grazing for decades and have been working with Purina products for nearly as long, bringing needed minerals, proteins, and other supplements to their herd. Using a combination of tubs and 500-pound super blocks, the Fraser herd has access to feed around the clock.
So what do we have to help sustain the forage out here? And I think this is where the accuration really comes back. Super blocks come back and gives them the support on their grass and this type of thing.
Definitely, the Purina program has made a difference in the cattle, and it's very visible. It's easy to see.
It needs to fit your program. And where we're out on grass like this year-round, and we don't have them in feed pens or something like that, it's got to be able to fit that, to be flexible for us, to be transportable. So with self-feeders and their own self-limiting diet, why that works well for us.
By using Purina's AccuRation program year-round to supplement the available forage, the Fraser's cattle snack eat, ensuring they get what Purina calls sustained nutrition.
Sustained nutrition is a management concept in which we supplement the cow herd to provide a more balanced level of nutrition 365 days of the year. The goal is to get the cows in an optimal body condition and maintain that condition throughout the year. Sustained nutrition not only affects the cows, but also their calves.
In fact, providing added feed to sustain the body condition of the cow both before and after calving is a critical factor for the future of a herd like the Frasers.
There is much research indicating that cows in a body condition score 5.5 to 6 at calving and maintaining that condition through the breeding season will come back in heat quicker, they will conceive sooner, and they will milk heavier, resulting in increased weaning weights. Think about how we generally manage the cow herd. Are the cows in the same body condition at weaning as they were 6 to 7 months earlier at calving? Generally not. We actually expect our cows to lose weight during that time. Why do they lose weight in condition? Well, we see a weight loss when the grass first greens up and that forage volume is very limiting. We may have compromised forage quality and availability during the summer due to the forage type that's being grazed, and then there are issues with drought. Add to that, the cow has just calved, she is producing milk and trying to get rebred. Lots of things are occurring that may cause a weight loss and condition if nutrition is not sufficient.
Sustained nutrition is something that we've been practicing or using the last, I think, 4 years, and really like that because that gives the cattle the chance to walk in, get that when they need it, and out. One of the things that I've always been bothered by is when you come out with a cake truck and they're just a mad scramble to try to get some nutrition, and the big cows get it all, the little cows just stand back. And in this case, you know, they really have a chance to supplement their needs, and again, in a stressless environment. So we really like that particular product.
The idea of sustained nutrition is a change for many cow-calf producers who traditionally have allowed their cows to lose weight over the winter season. Research indicates that approach can be more costly than you might expect.
Now, historically, we have been concerned about proper nutrition for the cow during that last 3 or so months prior to calving. We know that her nutrition requirements increase during that time because that calf in utero has 2/3 of its growth occurring during that last trimester. But research is showing that proper nutrition at conception and during the first and second trimesters is important as well. This nutrition will provide proper placental development in the cow, but also organ development and cell differentiation, along with the initiation and growth of muscle cells in that newly developing fetus.
In fact, keeping body condition on the cow is key not only to her long-term health, but to the lifelong health of the developing calf as well.
More and more research is validating that if the fetus does not obtain optimal nutrients at certain stages of development, the performance of that calf after birth can be affected. Epigenetics has emerged recently as the idea that environmental factors such as nutrition, weather, or any type of stressor causes the genetics of the animal to behave differently even though the genes themselves do not change. These changes last a lifetime, they are permanent, and they may be passed on to future generations.
No doubt input costs are a concern for cattlemen, but programs like Purina's AccuRation deliver a strong return on investment in the form of a more productive cow herd.
Research is relatively recent, but more emphasis is being placed in this area. There are data to show that replacement heifers from dams that receive supplemental nutrients had improved pregnancy rates and had more calves born in the first 21 days of the calving season. They also require less assistance at calving. In the same study, the steer calves from supplemented dams had heavier carcasses, more marbling, and fewer health issues from weaning to finish than the steers from the unsupplemented dams.
Well, one of the things about the sustained nutrition with the AccuRation products and such is that we're feeding that calf in the cow. And university research has shown that that prepares that calf not only for when it's born, but beyond that. And we've shown that the last 3 years we've had retain all our feeder cattle. And the last 3 years they've all graded over 85% choice. And they all fit a really narrow window in terms of when they go to slaughter. So that's to me a real plus, because it prepares them quite some time before that. You know, some people like to rough them out and then think they're going to push them at the end, and you know, they need that nutrition all the way along there. So I feel like that's a big plus for us. Oh yeah, it pays. It's an investment. I know that the NCBA and some universities have talked about how the feed costs are your greatest per animal cost that you have, okay? And so what you want to do is you want to make the most of that. It's an idea of reducing that cost, but you reduce it because you don't have to feed as much to catch up if you've not had that sustained nutrition. So that sustained nutrition keeps them at a level where they're maintenance, rather than where you're having to actually push them really hard. But the tubs, the super blocks, as well as the AccuRation and the self-feeders, is a good delivery tool. It's very consistent, and the other thing is the cattle expect that. I mean, they see the tub, they know what that is, or the block, they see the feeders, they know what that is. I like to use those for pasture management, in terms of if I've got an area where I want to do a little more intensive grazing, I'll move it there. You know, so now I'm using the cattle as my tool, and those nutritional supplements are a part of that.
And getting started with a program to implement sustained nutrition is easy to do.
A sustained nutrition program starts with providing the cow herd a high-quality mineral program that provides consistent consumption, such as the Purina Wind and Rain minerals. To provide supplemental protein and energy that may be deficient in your forages, Land O'Lakes Purina Feed has developed products with intake-modifying technology that allows the cow herd to be supplemented 24 hours a day, 365 days of the year. Intake of these supplements is directly correlated to forage quality, forage quantity, and the cow needs. We sure don't have all the answers, but supplying sustained nutrition for the cow herd while controlling intake based upon the forage quality sure seems to make sense.
For the Frasers, the Purina AccuRation program and the goal of sustained nutrition for their cows has delivered real results.
One of the things we do when we wean the calves and then preg check the cows, we take a body score right then, and then monitor that through the winter and springtime. And prior to this, we'd have a lot of fluctuation in there, kind of depending on what the pasture condition was or other factors. But now, even though there's still those variable environmental factors, they just really level out really well. And in fact, this year, I think we probably gained almost a body score through the wintertime. We didn't have as near as difficult a winter as some, but yeah, so that's something that's going to help us now as we calve, because they're in much better condition.
Reporting from Lyman, Colorado, I'm Brian Baxter for NCBA's Cattleman to Cattleman.
For more information about Purina's products, visit our website at cattlemanandcattlemen.org.